What's going on, guys? I'm Tommy and I'm coming at you with an action figure review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Hasbro The Black Series The Stranger, Qimir from the Acolyte. Everyone has their opinions on the Acolyte. You've heard everyone's opinions a million times, but I think what most of us can agree on is that the Stranger is an amazing, very, very cool character, and I'm really excited that Hasbro finally got around to adding him to the Black Series line. Qimir has so much character and visual appeal to me in the Acolyte, and I'm really happy to get such an awesome looking figure for him here. I got this on a pre-order through Big Bad Toy Store. That's a place I go to for most of my action figure orders and pre-orders. They're an awesome smaller online retailer here in the United States. I highly recommend their service. The Stranger is a mainline Black Series release here in 2025, and he comes in the standard style of packaging this year as well. You have your Black Series logo up at the top, a nice big plastic window showing you the figure and his accessories. Over here on the side, you have the character's name in vertical text. He is number 10 in the Acolyte subline. Down below the plastic window, we have that nice bright red banner also representing the Acolyte subline with the name of the show, some of your warnings, and your Hasbro logo at the bottom. On this side here, we have our mural art for Qimir. You can see the jungle of Kofar in the background there. He's got that reverse grip on that lightsaber, looking amazing. Character name down at the bottom. On the back of the box, we have a lot of the stuff we've already seen on the packaging, like the Black Series logo. That same mural image we saw blown up a bit. You have the character name and a bio in about 1,000 different languages. This bio reads, "Little is known of the Darksider who has been training May Anasea in secret, hiding his face from his pupil. When needed, he has adopted the alias Qimir, acting as a shiftless drifter." We reiterate, he is number 10 in the Acolyte subline. All your legalese down at the bottom. Guys, please don't feed this action figure to your babies. On this side of the box, we have your wraparound window, that banner, and your Black Series logo at the bottom. On the bottom, even more legalese, and on the top, nothing. That about wraps it up for the packaging, so let's get Qimir opened and we'll check him out. Alright guys, here is the Stranger out of the box. Before we take a look at the figure, let's of course take a look at his accessories. Something that's really exciting about this figure is that he comes with not a removable head, but a swappable head option for the helmet. This is great. This is something that I've been asking for in the Black Series more regularly, and I'm really happy to see it with this accessory here. A lot of times, removable helmets can really hinder the amount of detail and look you can give to the more dynamic hair sculpts, and I like that with a swappable head option, you get a much more proportionate looking helmet on such a small figure, and you still get to keep the natural look of the hair sculpt. Qimir's Cortosis helmet looks really, really nice with that nice bronzy color. You can see that there's a lot of detail applied in the sculpting, lots of pitting on the helmet here, and you can also see lots of paint for the slits for the eyes, as well as that nice gunmetal color for the teeth, the smile area here. And you can also see lots of cuts for the different weld marks here that have been painted over, and overall a very nice accessory. And then of course down here, the black neck peg, you can see there is a barbell joint hiding inside of there. So overall, very excited. I can't wait to put this on to the figure. Qimir also comes with his lightsabers, which are pretty dynamic here. So we'll talk about the main saber first. Now, the unfortunate thing here is that the saber hilt, it looks to just be done in some sort of a almost black plastic, maybe a very dark gray, but it does look like a black color. What I do like is that this has a nice, deep, vibrant red for the lightsaber blade. This is great. Of course, the lightsaber blade is removable from the hilt, and this is what those look like together. And then, of course, we have Qimir's hidden Shoto blade, I guess I'll call it here, and you can see this actually has a sculpted hook at the base here, so you can hook this onto his belt somewhere. We'll take a closer look at that in a little bit. Again, no painted detail on the hilt, which is a little unfortunate, and it has that nice short red lightsaber blade again in that really nice deep vibrant color, and you can see you can remove that. And a really cool feature about this, just like in the show, you can connect these. So there is a peg system that does connect the two pieces of the lightsaber hilt together, which gives you your complete lightsaber hilt. You can attach your longer lightsaber blade to that, and now you have Qimir's basic lightsaber look. Very cool. And now let's take a look at Qimir. This is probably one of my most anticipated figures of the year. I believe he may have even been on my top 10 most wanted Black Series figures for 2025, so to check this guy off the list is an extremely big deal for me. Let's kick things off by taking a look at Qimir's likeness here. Now, the Manny Jacinto likeness on this figure I think is really good. Is it perfect? No, it's very difficult for this scale to get likenesses perfect like that, but man, this looks nice. I think they did a great job painting his eyes. His very light mustache is painted as well. You can see his little goatee, if we lift his head up here, is painted too. That's great. And then we can see his lips are painted. The hair is also done very nicely. Again, lots of textured detail that's sculpted in there. You can even have these loose pieces, these kind of bangs out in the front that work very nicely because we don't have the removable helmet system in this case. Now, Qimir is covered up with his poncho, which this was something that I wasn't really a huge fan of with the initial release of this figure when I saw him first revealed. I was a little worried about this sculpted plastic poncho here because it is a very different color than the rest of his black garb, especially being the soft goods. It already is difficult to color match the sculpted plastic to the soft goods, and this just makes it, you know, a little more jarring. It is done in a very thin, malleable material for the plastic here, so it is at least, you know, gonna help you when you're articulating the figure, or so I'd hope. However, what we can do is we can just remove this. So we'll just pull Qimir's head and that pops right out with the neck peg. That's what we want to happen. You'll remove the poncho from the figure and look at that. We are now left with an extra poncho here. This one is in soft goods and this one is great because now with this one here, I can have a look for this character that looks to me much better, looks a lot more consistent with what we see on the planet of Kofar. This is a nice piece here. It's kind of wider in the back. It kind of mocks what we see on the sculpted plastic version. It's just soft goods fabric, and because I am a fan of the soft goods, I prefer this look here. But what we can do is we can also remove this right off the top of the figure because we're going to want to take a look at all that detail underneath. Something I noticed about Qimir first and foremost is this awesome wash that seems to have been applied to his arms. His skin is nice and dirty from that jungle of Kofar. He's battling all those Jedi. He's getting his hands dirty, and I really like that. They even went so far on this guy as to put this same wash on his hands for that dirty look. This is great. Interesting that his right hand is sculpted in a trigger finger. I'm not sure why that choice was made considering he only comes with a lightsaber, but oh well. Now what's really cool is you can see he's got his cortosis bracer here. So you can see this is painted really nicely. It's got lots of different colors here. I'm noticing a little bit of silver as it catches the light. I'm seeing a little bit of a rusty color as well as a little bit of an undertone of like an aquamarine, I want to say, a little bit of a bluish green color in there as well. Very awesome. This is a separate piece too. Remove the hand and you can remove the cortosis bracer. It's its own piece, and yes, this is meant to be removed from the figure because if you look, there is that same wash on the left forearm as well. This is a lot of detail on this guy and a lot of pieces for a basic Black Series action figure. You'll notice that the outermost layer of Qimir's tunic, which is sculpted very nicely. I like how the one side has a little bit more ripples to it than the other side, which is a lot smoother. This is an overlay here. So this is all one rubbery overlay here. And then you can see the belt piece is also its own overlay. And that has just a little bit of sculpted detail, no paint or anything like that. And then these very wide pants are also soft goods. This is huge for Black Series. This feels very, very premium for this character. And I'm very impressed by it. You can lift these pants up. I don't think you can remove them, but you'll see underneath he does have some just basic black pants here with, I do see some thigh swivel in there, which is an interesting touch, and you can see some boots in there. Just again, some basic black detail for the black pants and the black boots. Overall, very, very impressed by the visuals on this guy, and the mixed media approach they've taken on him really is impressive as well. Let's take a look at Qimir's articulation here. So he does have a lot of the modern articulation for Black Series here in 2025. You'll see he has a barbell jointed neck, so there's a barbell joint at the top of the neck and another one at the base. You'll see you can get lots and lots of range out of the neck that way. You can see he can look down quite a bit. He can also look up quite a bit, which is awesome. You can get some really, really nice tilt here, and obviously your right and your left. underneath the overlay here, there is a butterfly joint. It doesn't have the most range that a lot of Black Series butterfly joints do have. It is, however, still functional. You can move it forward and back here. Qimir is also going to have a hinge and swivel at the shoulders, so that hinge is going to get you to about that 90-degree mark. It's going to kind of fall a little flat just because of that overlay there, and you can, of course, swivel the shoulders a full 360 degrees. And then we do have a deep cut single jointed hinge, and that's going to get you well past that 90-degree mark. Some very impressive range here with a swivel at the top of the elbow. And then Qimir also has roly-poly wrists, or ball-jointed wrists as we would call them. These are an awesome inclusion because rather than just having the hinge, which limits you to only one direction of movement, you can move this guy's wrists in any which direction, which is awesome. Qimir's also got a ball joint at the waist, which is going to give you even more additional range here. We definitely want to get this guy into some acrobatic poses because obviously he's dueling quite a bit in the show. He does have, you can't see it underneath the soft goods, but there is a ball joint at the hip here, and you can see you can get all kinds of range out of that. These soft goods pants do not affect that at all. You can get them into the splits and they are not hindered by the pants whatsoever. And as you can see again, like I mentioned, there is that cut for the thigh swivel there, so this must be reuse of a character we've seen before, not sure who at the time of this review. A deep cut single jointed hinge at the knee, which gets you 90 degrees of bend, which is the standard for Black Series. We also have that swivel at the top of the knee there, and then we also have a cut for a boot swivel as well. So just insane articulation on this guy. Very impressed. We also have a forward-facing pin for rocker, as well as a hinge at the ankle, which is going to get you, that's pretty decent forward, actually. And then we can get you some pretty good back as well. Overall, phenomenal articulation on this guy. Literally, the only thing that isn't superb is those butterfly joints. Every other joint on this figure is amazing as far as range of motion goes. So I think the next thing we need to do, we have to get this guy kitted out so that we can get him into some poses. I think for my display purposes, I am going to go with the helmeted version of Qimir, but of course first let's get the soft goods poncho on, because again, I am also choosing to go with the soft goods look for Qimir here, and let's get this attached. This should just be pretty simple. So I will say that did take a little bit of effort there, a little more than I was expecting, but we're able to get the other swappable head option securely on the figure, and you'll see you can get plenty of range out of that head here. Lots of tilt, lots of back and forth, and a lot of down and a lot of up. This is exactly what we want for this very menacing Smilo Ren look for this character. And I think that this other poncho option fits very nicely on the character and matches the rest of the soft goods very well. We're also going to take his Cortosis bracer. We're going to get that back on the arm there. We want this guy completely kitted out for when we get him in battle mode. Getting the hand back on with the bracer on, very easy to do. And now we have Qimir all kitted out, ready for his battle. So the last thing he needs is his saber. Interestingly enough, I didn't see any weapon storage on this guy. So he has the clip on the lightsaber hilt, but no weapon storage. I will say, while you're trying to get the lightsaber into one hand and it is kind of put together, it can be a little frustrating because the lightsaber can be prone to just kind of falling apart like it did just there. So I'd recommend putting the larger portion of the hilt in the hand, and then if you want to connect that other side there, you can do so. And then we have a nice look for Qimir here with the lightsaber in hand. And here's Qimir just standing there menacingly, and he looks awesome here with the lightsaber behind. He's ready to slaughter some Jedi. Something I did notice is I was looking at some promo pics and some shots from the show. I was wrong. I will say the poncho is actually supposed to be a little bit of a lighter color than the soft goods underneath. I think we might end up putting this on the figure. And with the poncho back on the figure and giving us more layers to look at here, and again, I was shocked to see just how much lighter of a color this outer poncho was from the rest of the clothing beneath. This is another great promo pose, actually from the promo images for the show. Look at this posing you're able to get with this guy. You can really move this saber around, but I think we need some dual wield. Here's Qimir here in a nice pose. This is the pose he had, I believe, when he destroyed Jackie Lon and gave her that 3-hole punch. This is a super cool pose. You can really get some nice wide stances with this guy, and again, very impressed by how little the soft goods pants do here to hinder the articulation. And here we've got Qimir mid-stride, and this is a pose straight from the final final episode of the show where he first breaks his sabers in half. He's ready to duel with Master Soul. I will say I'm having a love-hate relationship with the outer poncho just because it kind of gets in the way when I'm trying to, you know, pose the figure in more dynamic poses. Makes him look a little stiff, but I feel like without it, he lacks a little bit of color and just a little bit of depth. So I feel like ultimately I'm just gonna kind of suck it up, but I know that there is an option for me to pose this figure without it and it'll look great. And here's Qimir in a one-legged pose, getting ready to give a downward slash to an unsuspecting Jedi who's about to meet their demise. And just for some size comparisons here with characters that he interacts with, these are all characters that are in the same big sequence here. From left to right, we have Jedi Knight Yord Fandar, we have Jedi Master Soul, and then to the right of Qimir, we have Osha, we have Jackie Lon, and we have May in her assassin look. These are all great figures. These all look awesome. They really knocked it out of the park with the Acolyte figures. It's a shame the show wasn't as well received because these are all really, truly fun action figures to pose around. So here's where I'm at with Qimir. I think there is a lot to love about this figure here. I love the use of the mixed media. The one gripe I have with this figure is that the poncho tends to be a little bit stiff. When I'm posing him around, when I'm getting him into those much more dynamic poses like we see in the show, it makes it a little difficult to bring his arms across his chest or really bring those shoulders up without it getting in the way. Even bringing the knees up high is a little bit difficult to do and it becomes a little bit troublesome. However, it does add a lot to the visual appeal of this figure. There is so much to love with this guy. The latest and greatest of Articulation, those soft goods pants I'm in love with. I love the Cortosis gauntlet being able to be removed, and of course the swappable head. There is so much done right about this figure, and it honestly deserves a top 10 spot of the year, regardless of the media he's from. But with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did and you're not yet subscribed, subscribe to Blitz Transmissions. I've got awesome Star Wars content coming out all the time. If you're an ARC Trooper in my Patreon, you would have seen this review early. If you'd like access to early content, monthly giveaways, and other awesome benefits, the link to my Patreon is in the description below. Become an ARC Trooper for just $4.99 a month. If you're a fan of the reviews I do here on YouTube, or you'd like to support the YouTube channel more directly, you could also check out my YouTube channel membership, Rancor Battalion. For just 99 cents a month, it gives you access to exclusive badges, priority replies in my comment section, and you get to vote on what I review next for the channel, as well as getting all my reviews early. If you'd like some Blitz Transmissions swag, you could head over to the Blitz Transmissions Armory over on Printify. Link to that is in the description below, as well as links to my Discord and all my social media. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll catch you for the next one, and may the Force be with you.
Breaking off. All units, fire at will. 1-2, pick your targets. Too many, Captain. Watch your stabilizer, Gold 6. Anybody cover me. I got 2 vultures on my tail. I've got to hold them here. Watch your left. I can't shake them. I'm hit. I'm hit. Where's our reinforcements?